YouTube. I wanted to do a kind of mid-year review of our kindergarten curriculum picks, let you know how they're going, what we like, and a swap that we made. We made our first curriculum swap at the beginning of this semester. I also have been working really hard and ordering a whole bunch of our picks for first grade next year. They're not all in yet, but I'm really excited to make a video and show you what we're planning for next year. We did just receive our portfolio review back. I homeschool in Maryland, which means basically our only requirements are that we have to submit a portfolio for review twice a year and that we have to consistently cover the following subjects in our homeschool every year, and that is English language arts, mathematics, science, social studies, music, art, physical education, health, and that's it. Anything else that you want to do, of course you can, but that's the proof that you have to submit to show that you're providing your kids with a good education. And I was very happy to see that we passed our portfolio review, which really wasn't hard, and it was very anticlimactic, but I'm still excited about it. With no further ado, let's get into our curriculum picks for the year. So first thing that I wanted to kind of review was my School Nest planner. I really enjoyed this planner. I did have to splice the spine off. I chose to laminate the covers, and that way I could kind of use my Happy Planner disc rings. I had a hole punch, Happy Planner hole punch all of them, and I really liked it that way. I will say that I will definitely go with a minimalist planner in the future. I just actually took almost all the pages out because I'm revamping it for next semester, but there were lots of, here we go, these daily details pages. I really didn't end up using them. So I really just enjoyed using the, let me see if I can pull them out for you. I used the monthly overview pages. I used the weekly scheduling pages. And then I used the weekly plan pages, and these were basically the backbone of my planning. So I liked to use this one to show me whenever we had appointments or specific scheduled activities that were at a certain time. And I used these pages for, okay, what are all the lessons we're going to cover this day? And I really enjoyed it. The only thing that kind of bugged me was that going across the planner, there are only 6 lines and there's 7 days in a week. So I usually just took the last category and marked it for the weekend, and I would put Saturday and Sunday stuff in there, which generally I didn't have that much scheduled or planned for the weekends. But yeah, I would prefer to have 7 days a week just in case we ever decide to have like a weird schedule. And maybe maybe we take off a Monday, but then we don't want to fall behind, so we could do some schoolwork on like a Saturday or something like that. But anyway, I really enjoyed the planner. I would definitely get it again, but I think I would definitely go with a minimalist planner. I think it was just too much for me to have the full bore one. Okay, so every morning, well, almost every morning, we tried to start with our gentle and classical primer. And this is still one curriculum that I still can't make up my mind on. And I think the reasoning is there are parts of it I love and there are parts of it that I didn't love. And it's a lot of money to invest in. I think it is more so for the family that we aspire to be and not so much the best choice for the family we are or the student that I have. My daughter is, I always feel like such a, saying this, but she's borderline brilliant, but she does have ADHD, and that really it's really been impacting our schooling, and I've been really seeing, that's definitely been the hardest part of homeschooling for us, is me being able to see firsthand how it impacts her, because when she does her lessons, she really doesn't struggle with them at all, but she definitely has executive dysfunction, and it really impacts her attitude with things, and it's just very difficult to get her to actually do schoolwork a lot of the time, even parts that she really enjoys, and it's not just school, it's anything in her life. And that's one thing where I think a lot of times parents, professionals, teachers, people who are dealing with ADHD, they always think about how it impacts people in work and academically, but they don't think or talk as much about how it impacts every aspect of your life. And I have ADHD, and we've been working, I have got mine pretty much under wraps. I'm 33, I've been dealing with it my whole life, but we've been working with therapists and We're seeking out a new psychiatrist that we're excited to work with for my daughter to kind of help her navigate her struggles, because I absolutely see how it is impacting her ability to learn and just her ability to function in her daily life. And as someone who also had those struggles growing up, I really want to do everything I can to help her navigate it and find what's best for her. So all of that to say, gentle and classical curriculum, I enjoy it. There are so many important parts that I want her to learn and I enjoy doing, but there are also, it just seems, some of it seems a lot, some of it seems too low, some of it, and some of it just seems too much. I don't think any of it in it here was really too high of a level. I particularly enjoy that it gave me direction for religion and manners and hygiene, because those are areas that I think are really important for my daughter to learn, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm an expert in. So I liked the guidance from there. We really enjoyed doing Wondertale and Wondertale tea time. It does get a lot to plan to do a Wondertale tea time every week, but my daughter really did love it. What else? We enjoyed the nursery rhymes. We enjoyed the poetry. That is one area where I think I absolutely could have saved money. The poems and the nursery rhymes are written in the curriculum book, so you absolutely don't need to buy those books. I bought the Robert Louis Stevenson poetry book, and I bought the suggested favorite nursery rhymes for Mother Goose, and I even had other nursery rhyme books, but I wanted to have the specific one that they request because sometimes different versions have different wording. And you just absolutely don't need them. We were pulling out the nursery rhyme book from time to time, but it's just a quick little ditty we do in the morning. It's easier just to read it out of the curriculum and keep going. I did end up customizing my daughter's morning menu, and this is something that she fights me on pretty much every time we have to do it. And I think part of it is that it's a little too low for her, but I also think it's important things she needs to learn. So I'm not going to show you all of this stuff because that's our personal information, but I did end up replacing the first page where it has them write their name, tell you their age, and learn either their phone number or their address, and then select a feeling. We have been working a lot with SEL for my daughter, her social emotional learning, and we really like the feelings from a little spot of feelings books. So I wanted to include that on her first page. We switched this out a couple weeks ago, so that way she has more options, because we found that a lot of times her feelings, they just didn't fit into the 5 categories that they had in the book. She also detested writing her name and age every day. As far as she could tell, she knows how to do it, so she wasn't going to put effort into it. She has individually learned my phone number, my husband's phone number, and our home address. But whenever we move on to the next one, she forgot the one she already learned. So I did just type them all up onto the top for her to practice reciting. I enjoy the fact that it goes over the weather, because I like her to start gaining a better understanding of this is the season, this is the clothes that we wear, and this is why. And she likes running to look out the window for the weather, but she just complains the second she sees the menu and I ask her to do it. She just doesn't want to do it. That's her executive dysfunction right there. I really like doing the date with her because time is something that she doesn't have a good grasp of. So I like that she's going through and doing her days of the week and her months. And I really enjoyed this part where she has to find the day of the month. She has to circle it, she has to write it down, and we actually got the blue number blocks. So we have the 10 sticks for this column and the single little 1 blocks for this column, and I think that has really reinforced and helped with her math curriculum with understanding the concept of digits. Even though her math curriculum really hasn't touched on the concept of digits, it's helped her have a better understanding of like teens and 20s, which she's been learning to count. You can see she did these. We have the math tracing page, which I like her to do still because she is still learning to understand and remember and visually see. Now she can count verbally very, very high up to I think 110 or 120 she's done now, grudgingly. But she still sometimes gets confused when she's reading her numbers and trying to remember what they look like. So I still like to have her practice this. And I still have her practicing her letters, though honestly she's pretty much past this. But I'm like, kid, it's the last year you're gonna do it. You're in kindergarten. We're not gonna be building letters anymore. So, and that's where I think this stuff is a little bit more on par with her preschool. And this stuff is things that I think she should be learning and doing in kindergarten, but she doesn't really enjoy it. So I'm at the point where I'm almost ready to scrap this altogether, except for that I still think there are things in it that she needs to learn. So I'm a little bit torn on that. But yeah, Gentle and Classical is the one curriculum that if I say, if I could go back and change my mind, would I buy it again? And I'm still not really sure, because I think I learned so much for this curriculum. There's so many things that I love about this curriculum. I also particularly love the art and music study, which I'm going to review more in a little bit. But it's a lot of work. It is the most work intensive thing that I've purchased, and it is also, like I said, parts of it are hit and miss for us. So I don't regret purchasing it, because I learned a lot and it's really helped me to decide how I want to do things for next year, for things that I'm working on my own. I did not elect to buy the next level of Gentle and Classical. I researched it very thoroughly and I really looked into it, and I decided the next level is not for us. One thing that I really didn't like were the hymns. We did the hymn for the entire first term, which is 12 weeks. We did that first hymn and she learned it and it was fine. Then we started the second hymn finally, and I was like, I don't even enjoy singing this. This isn't fun. This is kindergarten. She should be singing, what is it? Like the Bible, that's the book for me, or Jesus loves me, this I know, or this little light of mine. All those like cute little kid Christian songs. And it's like she's learning these like hymns that I don't ever recall singing them in church. They just seem very obscure, and it might just be that I'm Lutheran and not specifically, I believe she just says Protestant, but I'm not sure which, I guess, branch of Protestant. I know there's a lot of us, but they just weren't things that were familiar to me. They weren't enjoyable for her, and so we finally decided we're just going to sing our own Bible songs. So we kind of skipped out on that. But everything else, I mean, we still use it's in the other room right over there. We still use our memory board. I enjoy it aesthetically. She likes looking at it. But like I said, overall, all of the texts that I had to buy, all of the work that I had to put in it, if I had to go and buy it again for my second daughter, who's only 1 now, I do not think I would go buy it again. What I think I would do is just download this book off the website that you can download for free, and I would probably just use it as a guide for ideas and kind of make it into my own thing now that I'm more comfortable with my ability to do so. But I don't regret buying it all, because had I not bought it, I wouldn't have known that. If I were giving advice to someone else, I would say download the book for free. If you really want to have a memory statement board, buy the cards. Yeah, you can buy the cards for the memory statement board. I would definitely suggest buying the art and music guide. We really enjoyed that. And if you really want to do Wondertail Tea Time, buy the storyboard packs. But they are a lot of cutting out and a lot of work. We actually ended up skipping our last 2 weeks Wondertail Tea Time, because we do it at the end of the week when she theoretically knows her story. And by the end of the week, we're kind of tired and I don't really feel like putting the work in. And while she wants to do it, she also, it's her nature to be like, oh, I don't want to do anything. And then be like, oh, but I really want to do it at the last minute. And by then I have nothing prepped. So, yeah. So I don't know that I would buy the whole kit again, but there are parts of it I love, and I'm glad that I have it and that I learned from it. And we're going to keep trying to get through it to the end of the year. I don't know if we're going to finish it all at this point. We'll see. Next up, some curriculum that we are using that we have really been loving is Dash into Learning. I got the Dash into Reading pack and the Dash into Handwriting. We are on book 7 of the first set, and I highly suggest getting the activity packs, not just the books, and printing them out, because there are so many sweet activities. And I think this program really has helped her reading come along in conjunction with the good and the beautiful. So I'm going to get more into that later. But it's such a sweet, gentle curriculum. She does so well for her. I think it's almost too easy for her, but I think it's just the right amount of work for her. And that's the hardest part that I have with my daughter. She's so brilliant that academically, she's probably above that of a kindergartner, but her ADHD pulls her down, so her maturity is lower and it's less work ethic, I guess it comes across as, but really it's just, like, I can see the internal battles, and it's just difficult to sometimes navigate and to watch and to want what's best for her and know how much she's capable of. And it's just part of the process. We're learning and we're figuring it out, and we're gonna find the best process. And that's been a lot of this first semester. It's just trial and erroring. I feel like we've tried so many different schedule alternatives, activities, and we're trying to dial it back a bit more this semester. and really focus on meeting her where she's at. I think I, as a teacher and as an excited mom, was sometimes pushing too much for, I know you can do this, so let's get it done, instead of saying, you're just not there today. And there will be days where you can get it done and there's days where you can't, and we're just gonna meet you where you're at. I guess that's my saying for the year. And I always try to keep that in mind, but sometimes when you're in the thick of it and you're in the trenches, it's hard to keep in mind. So, but I really love this curriculum. I would suggest it for anybody whose kids want reading. For us, I think it's just not enough of a reading program. Whereas I think it is a perfect way for us to start her morning and make her dive into it. She really enjoys all the sweet little activities. So this one is My Pal, it's book 7. And they have we've done most of the things from this pack already, but we have the My Pal paper play. These are really cute. I haven't done the paper play games as much with my daughter, just because she is doing the storyboards with Gentle and Classical and Cold, and there's only so many paper dolls a kid can do in a week. But I think they are really sweet, and I might potentially do them more so with my younger daughter when she's older. We'll see. There's cute little crafts. This is to make a paper bag puppet. The only reason we didn't do this one is because I just didn't happen to have a paper bag. These sound search games have been great. She really loves them. They also a lot of times have matching games, bingo games, coloring pages, and we do them all. There's only a couple of things left in this pack. Like I said, we finished this book now. We're ready to move on to the next one next week, and these are just the couple that I have left over to show you. But yeah, I have really enjoyed the Dash Into Reading program. I'm excited. I have level 2 and level 3 that we're going to continue in 1st and 2nd grade. And I think it was a really great purchase. I'm going to put my finished things over here. Dash Into Handwriting, we have really loved. Let me show you some of so she does like handwriting practice in a couple different ways for a page. We give her a star when she's done, and then usually there is a sweet drawing or tracing activity or game on the 2nd page. Stuff like that. And sometimes she gets so excited she just goes ahead and does it, and I'm like, oh wait, we didn't read the instructions. Sometimes she just doesn't want to do it, but for the most part, she's generally very good about handwriting. This is the one curricular area that I can, let's say when I'm putting the baby down for nap, I can say, Gwen, go do your handwriting, and she can pretty much do it on her own. It's been a really great hit. I do think it is very similar to the Good and the Beautiful handwriting program. I think this one for me is just a little bit cuter, and I really wanted to stick with this program because it goes along with the Dash Into Reading, and we were doing that as well. But if you're on a tight budget, I would suggest going with the Good and the Beautiful handwriting because I think they're similar in the way they're created. That one is just a bit cheaper. But yeah, no regrets on this one. We're really enjoying it. And we also have that for 1st and 2nd grade as well. Simply Math K from the Good and the Beautiful. We are loving this program. It is a wonderful math program. She has come so far. I'm so impressed with it. It's so cute. It's so fun every single day. There are 120 lessons for the year. And we just finished lesson, wait, we did this one too. Hold on. We just finished lesson 58. So we're a little bit behind from where I would like to be, but we're not so behind. We're still gonna definitely finish this one by the end of the year. And part of us being behind is just because we had in the fall, we took a week off for pumpkin school for Halloween. We took a week off the week after to celebrate Last Love, which is the reading week, where we just celebrated all things education. We took a break from regular curriculum. We did a week of Christmas school, and then we also had, our ADHD battle days. But overall, it's a big hit. She enjoys doing it. I enjoy doing it. I think it is a wonderful curriculum. She's learning very much. She's doing amazing at addition, counting. She's starting to learn to tell time. There's a lot of shapes and sequencing and sweet games, and I love the math box that comes with it. You really don't need anything else for the curriculum, and it's very well priced. I think it's very well done. We're definitely going to I don't see us switching from this curriculum for any reason. And we are coming up on our big curriculum switch. So language arts from the Good and the Beautiful, level K. We did preschool. We loved it. She learned so much from it. We did kindergarten prep, loved it. Thought we loved preschool, did kindergarten prep. Realized we did not love preschool because we loved kindergarten prep. It was even better than preschool. Got to level K, and I think just looking at the page is more overwhelming. I don't think the skill jump is as big as everyone says. I think it's more of just the look of it. So I wish I brought the kindergarten prep book out so I could kind of show you a sample. But let me find a good lesson page to show you that's kind of representative of how these lessons look. Okay, yeah, we'll look at this one. So a lot of these pages are just jam-packed full. Now the lessons are only generally maybe 3 pages, sometimes only 2 pages. And I don't think they're too hard. I think she has been receiving an excellent education from them. I think they're right at her level. But for whatever reason, she would emotionally see the book, and especially the booster card book, and she would just shut down. And it was tooth and nail and just feel like banging my head against the wall trying to get through this language arts curriculum. And once again, I don't think it's too hard. I think it is an excellent curriculum. I think they just need to spread it out. I think there's too much on a page and it's just too intimidating for her. But she was so good at all the activities. She would do the independent practice activities. She's reading really well between the Good and the Beautiful readers and the Dash into Learning. We're halfway through kindergarten. She's 5.5 and she has read over 25 little book readers. She is absolutely doing so well at reading. She's got her CVC words down. She still has to sound them out a little bit, but I think that's typical. But she can pretty much read almost anything I put in front of her. That is CVC words and her sight words, and she did really well, and it has given her such a good foundation for reading. That being said, we're meeting her where she's at. And in this book, we barely made it through term 1 in our first semester. And I gave us a very extensive amount of time. I'm doing a 40-week school year, so our first semester was 20 weeks. And in 20 weeks, we made it through 40 lessons. And that is with attempting to do 3 or 4 lessons a week. And by the end of the semester, the last couple of weeks of the semester, we were so far behind that I had her doing it like 5 days a week. I said, you don't get a break in this because we're so far behind because you said no so many days. And it was to the point where I was like, we're going to have to do a 3rd semester of kindergarten. We're not going to be able to start 1st grade next year because there's no way we're going to finish this book by the end of the year. So even though she has been learning so well from this program, and I think this is a great program, and I would still recommend it, particularly if you have a kiddo who is an enthusiastic learner or an enthusiastic lifer, we'll say, I still think it's great curriculum. But for my daughter, we decided to make a switch, and this is our one curriculum swap that we're making for this year. And I've seen this program reviewed before, and I always was interested in it, but I was comfortable and happy with the Good and the Beautiful. I thought she was doing great. But I looked into it more over winter break, and it's called Prenda Treasure Hunt Reading. You can get it online. It is free. There are video lessons with Adventure Kate. And there's a workbook that you can print out, and there's a section for helpful adults to help teach your child to read. And I showed my daughter a couple videos over break, and I said, I'm considering switching your beautiful lessons, that's what we call them, because I know you don't enjoy them. I don't think they're too hard for you, but I know you don't enjoy them. I'm considering this other curriculum. Would you look at it and tell me if you think you would like it better? And she looked at it. They have this map where they get to track their journey. So there's base camp lessons, which we finished all of. Then there's journey 1, journey 2, and journey 3. And then there is also a second tracking page where you track all the books that you read in their program, all the keys. We haven't done a key yet, so I'm not exactly sure what those are, as well as sight words. She just finished her first sight words. So we finished our base camp, and our first lesson, I decided to start her with journey 2. So by the end of term 1 in Good and the Beautiful, I was completely convinced that her reading skill is high enough that we completely skipped journey 1. I believe journey 1 covers what was taught in preschool, all the just regular letter sounds, long sounds, short sounds, as well as blending, CVC, decoding a little bit. And by the end of term 1, I have no doubt that she has those skills down. So in journey 2, you can see on the map, and just from me looking through it more so, it's more of the I don't know the appropriate words, I'm not an English teacher, I'm a STEM teacher, but like the blended letter sound. So SH is the first sound, which she already learned from, Dash into Learning. So the sh sound, the EE is next, and that's going to be the long E sound, and then it's CK and NG, and you know, these blended sounds that have their kind of own unique ring to it, their own unique rule. And that's where I think she is. So we're starting on Journey 2. Now I had planned to take this slow and only do 2 lessons a week. Another reason that I like this one was Journey 2 is only, don't quote me on this, it's around 40 lessons. And I said, I can finish that by the end of the year. If we do 2 lessons a week, then she will be done with Journey 2 by the end of kindergarten. And then I won't feel that we're behind and we won't need to add an extra semester just because we just can't get her over the hump of doing her work. But yeah, so I had planned on doing 2 lessons a week. So for week 1, I had the 2 lessons at base camp. For week 2, I had 1 lesson at base camp because we were finishing up a class I was teaching, and I just didn't want to overload the week. But she ended up doing 2 lessons on the first day, asking to do a third. So then the second day she did another lesson. And then by the end of week 2, which was just this past week, we've already finished all 5 base camp lessons and the first lesson of Journey 2. And she's already mastered her first group of sight words, which she already knew from The Good and the Beautiful and from Dash into Learning. So they weren't hard for her. It's been more so review at this point, but she has been much more excited to do so. Like that is, she did 6 lessons in 2 weeks, which is obviously much better progress than we were making with the other curriculum. So far I'm very happy with the switch. She did say yesterday that she's like, I don't think I like this as much as I thought I would. I didn't think there'd be so much reading. And I looked at her and I kind of joked. I was like, Gwen, you didn't think there would be reading in a program called Treasure Hunt Reading? And I did want to show you at the end of, in her Journey to lesson 1, she had to quote unquote read a book. Well, really it's a comic strip. And she was like, I'm not reading, I don't want to do it. I said, but look, you get to draw the pictures as you read. So she read the sentence, she drew the picture. She read the sentence, she drew the picture. She read the sentence, she drew the picture. And then at the end, I was like, there's one more thing you have to do. She's like, I'm not reading it again. Because I told her she has to read it twice. And I said, no, up here it says illustrated by. Do you know what that means? She says, no. I said, that's the person who drew the pictures for this book. I said, who's the illustrator for this book? And she's like, oh, I am. And I said, okay, so you need to write your name right there so we know who illustrated this book. And she was so excited and she wrote her name. And so even though she still kind of had her executive dysfunction, no, I don't want to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. She did buy into it and she was excited to do it. And she was excited to tell her dad about it. I told her she has to read it one more time before I'll let her mark it off on the map. She really enjoys marking it off on her map. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really great choice for us. And I figured it's free. I've got nothing to lose. So let's try it. And so far, we're 2 weeks in. We're in terms of my plan, we're like 3 weeks in already. And she's doing really great with it. So I'm really happy with this switch. Once again, no hard feelings to The Good and the Beautiful. I really enjoyed this curriculum. I might still try it with my younger daughter. I think I'll probably do the same thing. We'll probably definitely still do the preschool and the kinder prep. But I might also give her the chance and say, look at these 2 programs, which would you like to do? And let her choose, because I think them having ownership over their choices really does help. And I think that's the main difference. As I said, I'm looking at this, I want to know what you think and which one you want to do, and that's what we'll do. And I think that's really going to help carry us through a lot more. Like I said, you live and you learn. Next up, I wanted to do kind of what I consider more of our specials and our unit studies. So we use the Gentle and Classical Art and Music program. Once again, I really enjoyed this program. We learned all about Vermeer and Bach in our first semester. For our in our first semester, our first term, this is broken into 3 terms. I operate my school on 2 semesters a year based off of where the portfolios are due. But yeah, so we studied a composer and an artist in the first term, which were Bach and Vermeer, and we really enjoyed. I love the art history aspect mixed in with the hands-on. I really loved the art program. I really like the music program. I like that she's learning about different orchestra instruments. I like that she's learning about different composers and being exposed to things. We did end up switching term 2, was supposed to be, I think it's Mozart next. It's supposed to be Mozart. We switched it with the music study for term 3, which is Tchaikovsky, because they specifically have you studying the Nutcracker, but like it was at the end of the year, like in June, and we're like, no, we need to study the Nutcracker in December, obviously. So I did end up mixing it around a little bit, so we're kind of in no man's land in terms of the schedule right now, but we're doing Tchaikovsky, and we are studying my personal favorite painter, Monet, and then in term 3, we will do Mozart, and we will do, what's the last artist? Kandinsky, which I'm not super excited about. I'm not a big fan of modern art, but we'll learn about it. It's good to expose your kids to everything, right? But yeah, so I really love this program. I recommend it. I got it as part of the whole primer bundle, but if you don't do the primer bundle, if you do what I said and just download the book for free, I would still highly suggest buying this. You can buy it separately, and it's been really great. I'm gonna hold off on this because we're just starting that now. I'm gonna hold off on this and this because we're just starting them now. Our first unit study of the year, we did The Good and the Beautiful, Science for Little Hearts in Hand, Wind and Waves, and oh my gosh, did we love this unit study. It is still my daughter's favorite thing. She loves science. I loved it. It is very easy. There is a craft, a story, video, or I think this one has didn't have videos, but it did have like these sound recordings that you listen to, and you kind of move the chip around to follow the story. But there were so many little like easy hand-on games and experience that were so easy and zero prep. I love it. We are just starting now. I was going to wait for spring, but the other day my daughter didn't do any more schoolwork, didn't want to do any schoolwork, and I was like, I need something to spark her interest. And I said, you want to do a science lesson? I'm gonna pull out this book, and we just did the first lesson in this book, Field and Flowers. That's why I want to save it for spring, because it's mostly spring and summer related science activities. But we started with the trees lesson. And she was like, I want to do another one. I want to do another one. I was like, well, there's only 30 and I want to wait till spring so we can go outside and enjoy these things while we're learning about them. But they have been such a big hit. I already own Sparks and Stars. They just came out with a new one, Bones and Stones, which is geology and dinosaurs, and 100% off up Gwen's alley. She loves collecting rocks. She absolutely loves dinosaurs. She tells everybody she wants to be a paleontologist. Both my girls were dinosaurs for Halloween. We're planning Dinosaur Day for co-op this week. So we're so excited. We're definitely going to be choosing the Bones and Stones to start next year. So here's a free tidbit. I haven't bought it yet, but we're definitely going to be getting it. We have loved these. Highly suggest. We are definitely going to be sticking with Good and Beautiful for math and science. Zero doubt in my mind. Yeah. So highly suggest. Wind and Waves. Already started Field and Flowers. Loving it. Already own whatever I said the other one was, the outer space one, and we are definitely getting Bones and Stones. Very much loving the Good and the Beautiful science and math. Unfortunately, language arts just didn't work for my daughter. I'm still going to hang on to it and possibly use it for my other daughter. I still think it's great curriculum, just didn't work for her. All right, our second unit study of the year we got from Little School of Smiths, and we did the Me on the Map. Now this was bit more mom planning intensive than the Good and the Beautiful science units, but I really did enjoy it. I didn't grow up, we live in Maryland now, I said that already. I didn't grow up in Maryland, I grew up in New Jersey. So when I'm learning about the state, I'm learning about it right along with my daughter. I didn't know so many things about Maryland. It was such a wonderful, delightful intro. We really enjoyed all of the crafts, all of the games, all of the activities, the research. There were so many great book resources. Some of the books on the resource list, we always found plenty. A lot of them my library didn't own and I didn't buy them. But some of them I felt like were a little bit of a stretch to stay on topic for the unit. I did supplement a bit when we got to the continent towards the end. My daughter loved doing the Statue of Liberty craft and being the Statue of Liberty. We had a lot of fun doing the American flag craft. We toured our neighborhood. We did all sorts of state crafts. We learned all about the Baltimore Orioles. We learned about She can tell you whether she lives in a rural, urban, or suburban area. We tried the country haystack cookies and decided we liked them. We were both a little unsure, but they were pretty good. And the ones that we really enjoyed, we did the traffic sign activity, the stop sign, why can't I say that? Stoplight snack, there we go. This picture goes with this column. I always thought that should be switched. But we made the stoplight graham crackers, which we really loved, and then we ate them for our Wondertail tea time. So I specifically lined the snack cooking and our Wondertail tea time days up. That was fun. We loved making the box cardboard roads, and they did play with them for a good month. I think there's still 1 or 2 hiding in my daughter's room. But all the crafts and activities were wonderful. We really enjoyed this curriculum. I bought it as a bundle, so we also have Me and My Amazing Body. We're going to hold off and do this for next year's health curriculum. And we have Me and My Place in Space, which I don't think we're going to do next year. I think we're going to do it for 2nd grade because, like I said, we're going to continue with our Good and the Beautiful Hearts and Hands next year. But yeah, loving this curriculum, and we're very happy with this purchase. I highly suggest Little School of Smiths. It was a bit, like I said, if you are definitely hands-off, don't want to do the prep, don't love doing the activities, then this won't be for you. I love all those things. So yeah, we really enjoyed it. Okay, this is what we're starting right now. We just finished our first book. This is Dash Into Happy. It's an emotional resilience program from Dash Into Learning. It is so sweet. It is the sweetest little curriculum. I made the cover myself for my binder because I just put all of the printouts, all of the activity books in here. But so you get a beautiful teacher's guide that teaches you all about emotions and parenting and the importance of just building a relationship with your child. And I really enjoyed that. I found it very useful and helpful, and it kind of explains their program. So it teaches emotional resilience through classic fairy tales, but with the Dash Into Learning characters that she's been learning about all year so far. So this one is the 3 Bears, which is basically Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, but it's Fan and Sam, which are the characters from her first Dash Into Reading book. It's very simple to use. One thing that I really love is this little bookmark that they gave you. So throughout the book, I don't know if you can see very well. Sorry, I'm a little far from the camera. But there are parts of the words. So you read the book to the child, and some of the words are color-coded. And on your bookmark, it tells you what each color means. So for example, the kind of brownish red words are to identify characters' feelings. So those are words that are identifying characters' feelings. And as you're reading, if she hears a feeling word, she has to tap her heart. And it helps her to identify when people are feeling. It teaches about to identify the body signals that accompany feelings. So like when Sam was feeling upset and afraid, it said his stomach was starting to hurt. And when Fan was really excited, it says that she could feel her heart thumping in her chest. And it's just learning the body signals so that she can understand what feeling she's having, which is an area that my daughter really struggles in, is her emotional regulation, which comes back to her ADHD. So it's very sweet. The activities are darling. There are all sorts of games. We made this big game, whatchamacallit. It was called Escape Bear Cottage, and it was a game board, and it was really sweet. This is the spinner that I had to make that I had a little bit of trouble with. I was afraid that it wouldn't spin, but it actually spins really well, so I'm happy with that. I really love the together time activities. So one thing I even just posted on kind of their Facebook page when they were asking about like goals for this year, I said, I'm really loving together time activities because even though we literally spend pretty much every minute of every day together, not every minute of every day, but for the most part, we're homeschooling. My children are very little. We spend all of our time together. We're not always focusing on the fact that we're spending time together. A lot of times I'm more goal oriented and focusing on let's get through our schoolwork, or let's get our house clean, or let's get to gymnastics, or and in the together time activities, you're really just focusing on building your relationship while you're doing the activity. And it's been a really good reminder for me to slow down. So we made, after reading, the 3 Bears, we made porridge. And I had never had porridge before. It was pretty much oatmeal, but we followed the recipe and we made the porridge, and we talked about how we have to watch the pot while it's boiling because it could boil over if we're not watching it and taking care of it. And emotions are a lot like that. And we all try the porridge, and she's asked for it every single day since. I was like, we're not making porridge every day when we have the instant oatmeal right here. I'm so mean. But we really did enjoy spending the time together. And we also just played this game, A Recipe for a Loving Family. And basically, there's all these cute little cards here. I'll show you too. And they all have cute little like ingredients on them. And I hid them around our kitchen. And they had to bring them back to me and say, this represents an ingredient that's important to having a love-filled family. And then we would read what it is, and it would say, this one says, say I love you. And we talk about how can we do that in our family and why is it important to tell people that we love them. Two things that were really funny, I thought, were at one point my 1-year-old and my 5-year-old were fighting over a card. They both wanted to hold it, and it got ripped in half. And the word that happened to me on that card that I hadn't read till afterwards, that I could still just barely read, said share. One other one that was very ironic was, she ADHD squirreled and just completely stopped focusing, and I was trying to read the card to her and, go over the game. We're in the middle of the game. And it's just like, Gwen, will you listen? Gwen, will you listen? Finally, I'm like, read the card, and it says, listen to each other. So it was very ironic and very well timed that the cards that were the things that we were struggling on at that exact second just happened to be the same card. But overall, it was so sweet, and we really loved it. And it's given me something, kind of like some language to go back to when we do struggle with things like that. And we've only made it through book 1, there's 5. So it's been really, really great. I adore this curriculum. I think that they might be making a set 2 just because it says Dash into Happy, book 1, set 1, and currently it's the only set. But I'm assuming since they labeled it that way that they will make another set for the program. And when it comes out, I'm pretty sure we'll buy that one too. But so far it's been a really great hit. Now, for the first half of the year, we did unit studies where we did science, did the whole science every day. And then we did social studies. We did the whole social studies every day. And then we started health, and my plan was to do the whole health every day and then do our last unit of science and social studies, do each of them a day to kind of start getting more ready for the workload of a first grade where we intend to do them all every day. However, it was week 2 and we were already kind of tired of doing the same things every day, and we were trying to mix it up already. So we started this little workbook of social studies. We just wanted to not do Dash into Happy every single day. When you're rereading the story every day, it gets to be a lot. So I think we'll probably do Dash into Happy twice a week and then mix and match throughout the rest of the semester, whatever kind of we feel. We're gonna be a little more loosey-goosey with it. But I have this workbook that I got at Ollie's earlier in the year for 99 cents. And it's My Community, Helpers and Places. And my plan was we'll just do 2 pages a day. She's loved it. We've already learned a little bit. We've done it 3 days, I think, and we've already done 9 pages. Yeah, 9 pages. And she keeps asking me to do more of this one too. So it's been a real hit. That's what we're doing for social studies. I hear my little one waking up, so I'm gonna go grab her and then I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Can you say hi? Say hi. This is Lily. She's my now 1-year-old. And this is Elmo. She's a big fan of Elmo, and she's been recently learning to say Elmo. You want to say Elmo? Elmo. And also, I'm recording this, so I have a memory of it forever. But the other night, she said her first full sentence, and I cried. She said to me 3 times, she said, I love you. Because I said, I love you, as I was rocking her sleep. She just said, I love you. And I was so excited. I said back to her, and she said back to me. And I said back to her, and she said back to me. And it was the best moment ever. I swear I start crying, and I'm not that super overly emotional person, but you are a sweetheart. Anyway, so let's finish going over. We just finished going over our social studies workbook that we're using for the tail end of this year. And I just wanted to go over a couple of our supplementals that we have started using and ones that we're gonna plan to use over the summer as still part of our kind of kindergartner transition into first grade curriculum. What? Let go. Okay. All right. So these are 4 books that we're currently using. You can't have that. We're gonna try and finish this quickly. This is a Morning Starters book. We did a preschool level one of this last year with Gwen for preschool, And she really liked it. And the whole year when she was complaining that she didn't like her morning menu, she kept saying, I want to do the one from last year. So I went back to Dollar Tree and spent a whopping $1.25, and I got her this one again. And we don't do it every day, but I kind of try to swap them out. And she's generally pretty excited to do this one, especially after having had to do the morning menu. So we might just continue with this throughout the end of the year until she's done with it. I also happened to purchase I think the first grade version of it too, since she liked it enough to ask for it, and they were there at the same time. But it's just a little morning starter. It doesn't really touch on the weather, but it has her write her name, circle the day. There's a letter of the day. I like that it has her learning words. So she writes a word, she traces it, she writes it, and then she has to pick which one goes in the sentence. And I think that's a great way to start the day. There's usually a little number or a math form activity, one or two, or just some other sort of like patterns and stuff. But it's just a little bit of alphabet and math work, which are things that also are in the Gentle and Classical primer. But these ones I think are just more relevant to her. So she's really been enjoying them. I realized that I had a lot of language arts, and all we had for math was the Good and the Beautiful math, which, like I said, we're loving, but I kind of wanted to have more of a rewards type of thing math. So I decided to get this logic puzzles book for her. We did it, I think, once last semester, and we started doing it daily. So when we do our morning starters, we also do a logic puzzles page or two, whatever she's up to, kind of her choice. And we're on page 12, and she's been really enjoying these logic puzzles, and they come very naturally to her because she's a really smart kid. But yeah, she's been doing really well with this. We're really liking this book. There is a second level of this book. I got this one on Amazon, so when we finish this, I'll probably pick that one up too. We picked these up earlier in this year, and I used them during last lab when we were doing our reading week. So the way the Curious George one is, there is a Curious George story that they read, and then there are some workbook pages that go along with each story that hit on the topics of reading, math, science, and social emotional learning. And we just did the first one that week, and I just kind of spread it out throughout the week. And at first she was like, I don't want to do it. And then afterwards she's like, why can't we do those again? I really like them. So the second you ask her to do something, she doesn't want to do it. But later on she's like, wait, I really like that. I want to do it again. So I would like to try and work on in a few more of these through the end of the school year, but I don't know if we'll have time. Kind of depends on how we're doing with everything else. But if not, I think we're going to use this as summer schoolwork. I don't do full-blown school during the summer. Like I said, we do a 40-week school year, which is really long. But I do like to keep her brain working, and on days that we are home, kid needs something to do. So I think we'll keep using this over the summer. And we also got this Dr. Seuss Workbook Kindergarten, which we did during our last lab week as well. This one is formatted a little differently. And I think I got both at Ollie's, yeah. So I got this one for $5 at Ollie's. This one I guess I took the sticker off of, but I believe I also got that at Ollie's for pretty cheap. And yeah, this includes math, phonics, reading, exploring emotions, spelling, vocabulary, science, and problem solving. And since we didn't actually get to our SEL curriculum, during our reading week, I had us do the science unit that was My Body. And I ripped a couple pages out of it, but it was health sciences. And she learned about a little bit about healthy foods, different body parts, healthy exercise, and we just finished that little section of the book. And at each end of each little section, they get to do a sticker. So she did the health lessons. We also we skipped the writing the letters because she's already kind of past that point anyway. But she worked on words with short vowels, which are pretty much, CVC words. So she did that in the week, and there were lots of fun, cute little games, and she really enjoyed doing this book as well. So she got the star for words with short vowels. And I just think this is more like an extra practice. The pages are not very intimidating. Like they're colorful and fun, and just a little bit on each page, which she enjoyed, even though it's the same level as the other work she was doing. It's just a little more spread out. I had her do the numbers practice and writing her numbers, because like I said, that's something that she still needs work with. So she did where she writes the number, and she writes the number as a word. Then she had to color some. So she did her numbers 1 through 10. She got a sticker for that. And I think she did one more section. Oh, she did the feelings section, and we had just learned about scribble spots in our co-op. So she drew her feelings as a scribble spot and just kind of reiterated some SEL work for that. So she got her little sticker for emotions. So like I said, it's just an easy book. It looks really big, but there's not a lot on each page. So I think she felt really accomplished just moving through the pages quickly. And she really liked it. So if we do not get to finish this by the end of the year, which I do not expect we will, we'll just keep working on it during the summer. This is a book that I picked up during preschool with intentions to use and still haven't. So it's 100 Days of Adventure, nature activities, creative projects, and field trips for every season. So I intend to start using it. I want to look through it a little bit more for this spring and summer and use it throughout next year. Because it just looks like a fun little addition, and we do a nature group on Mondays, but they don't meet every Monday, so maybe we can work some things in on the Mondays that we're not meeting. And finally, we did the What Your Preschooler Needs to Know. Over last summer, we did What Your Kindergartner Needs to Know, and I have already picked up the What Your First Grader Needs to Know, and I would like to start working through this over the summer. These books are getting bulky. I would say What Your Preschooler Needs to Know is probably about 1/3 of this, and What Your Kindergartner was probably 2/3 of this. So I don't think we'll finish this over the summer, but I do intend to start it over the summer. And if it bleeds into the beginning of next year, I'm okay with that. But that's our kindergarten year in a wrap. We really did enjoy pretty much everything. Like I said, we're a little on the fence with gentle and classical. And I really like the Good and Beautiful language arts. My daughter didn't, but everything else has really been a hit. I'm really excited that so many of my choices worked out. And I'm really excited to finish the rest of this year and move on to first grade. Yeah, and Lily always wants to help with school, and we keep trying to redivert her to coloring books, right, Lily? But you want to do the workbooks? Homeschooling with a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. It's definitely been a lot of work. One other thing that I would say for anyone new or anyone who's just homeschooling and just looking for other people's perspectives, I guess. There is not a single day where the thought did not pass through my head that this would be so much easier if I would just send this kid to school. My life would be so much easier if I would just send my kid to school. And I would also say that there is not a single day where that thought was ever followed up by the thought of that might be a better choice or a better option for her. Anytime I have that thought that I think that, oh, maybe I can't handle this, I just feel so immensely sad at the idea of missing out, because I loved getting to be there with her when she read her first book and pointing it out to her that she read a book and can she believe it. And anytime that she realizes how much progress she made, or I show her, we just stop and appreciate, you're on lesson 55, you're on lesson 59, you have done this much work, you have finished this many books, and just seeing that sense of pride, or when she figures something out, or just, I love planning it, I love doing it, I love seeing her growth. It is hard, and it is exhausting, and it is an absolute work of passion and love, and it'd be so much easier if I didn't homeschool. It would be so much easier, and I cannot fathom how much sadder I would be. I'd be a lot less stressed, but I love it. It really is a wonderful experience. And even my daughter, she recognizes, she would, in the fall, we would sit and watch the school buses go by, and I'd be like, yeah, they're on their way to school. And she would be sitting there eating breakfast wrapped in a blanket in her pajamas and be like, I couldn't even fathom leaving my house. Half the time she's not even up before half the buses go by. And it's just such a gentle and wonderful way for us to live. I really love the freedom and the flexibility that it's given our family. It's really been a wonderful experience. It is hard, do not get me wrong. I do not want to underrate how difficult it is, but it's really wonderful. It's like parenting. It is parenting. It's parenting all the time. It's parenting without a school break throughout the day and throughout the week. But it's hard to do. It is. But it's wonderful. So if you're suggesting homeschooling, I highly suggest give it a try. Or if you're thinking about homeschooling but you're afraid, it is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is difficult. We battle almost every day. But that's also just parenting, and that's just my kiddo. She's just not an easy kiddo. She's a wonderful kiddo. She makes me laugh a million times a day. Sometimes she makes me cry. I'm not a big crier, so it's pretty few and far between. We yell too much, but we giggle too much. We cuddle. Okay, we don't feel like doing our reading at the table. Let's go cuddle on the couch under a blanket, and we'll get it done over there. Hey, we want to take a break and go outside. Okay, let's go outside. It's been a really wonderful experience. And I think all things that are wonderful are hard. And I really suggest, if you are considering homeschooling and you feel drawn to it, try it. Public school will always be there. You can always be like, you know what, this isn't working. It's not for us. What was I thinking? Send them public school. That's fine. Private schools are there if you can afford them. We really can't. They're very expensive in our area. But just do it. Dive in. It's fun. It's gratifying. It's amazing. It's parenting. Literally, it's just parenting. But I highly suggest it. There's been so many wonderful moments. Thank you for checking out my reviews. I hope this was helpful, entertaining, or I don't know, enjoyable in some way. And if you have any suggestions, if you've tried any of these curriculums, if you think I'm totally wrong, please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope to get back to you soon with a video of all of my picks for first grade. All right, bye.